Hey everyone, welcome to the Nostalgia Effect, the podcast where we examine movies from our childhood to the lens of adulthood. Today we got Joe and Johnny.
Hey.
And then me, Amy. I'm cutting you off, Joe.
Joe has been reprimanded for interrupting Amy, and she is a tyrant that is gone power crazy.
But hey, Joe.
Now you're allowed to speak, Joe, I think. I don't know.
So, we're going to talk about FernGully today, but before that, we got some talking trailers.
And stuff.
Because it's really, we're talking stuff about a trailer.
We're doing a deep dive.
We're not just talking stuff, we're talking shit.
We're talking shit. It should be talking trailers and shit.
So we're going to talk about...
I like that.
Yeah.
It's the rename. It's a new segment.
I mean...
Somebody work on a musical drop.
You want to do that, Mr. DJ?
No, I'm terrible. I'm not a musician at all.
We're going to be talking about the Gemini Man trailer.
Is it called Gemini Man?
Yes.
Oh, I thought it was just called Gemini.
Nope, Gemini Man.
I mean, that's even worse. If you haven't seen it, it's a very terrible trailer, and I don't like it.
Yeah, it's the new movie from Ang Lee starring Will Smith and Will Smith. And
I hate when they do that. All right, if you're not going to talk, I'm going to kick you fucking in the head.
yeah, because I mean, Joe, come on. You're going to be the one that's doing the most
This
talking.
is your fault.
The most talking about this subject because it was your idea to talk about it in this way.
It was.
Are you just waiting to cut me off again, aren't you? I can see you plotting.
Scheming, even.
Yeah.
Anyways, this movie, I mean, one...
The concept
Well,
is...
see what I think.
Thank you, Joe.
No, you know what it feels like? It feels like a movie that should have been made, not even should have been made, but that would have been made,
In
like...
the early 2000s.
Yeah, like 10 to 15 years ago.
Yeah.
With young Will Smith.
With young Will Smith. Yeah, well, at first I thought it was like Jaden Smith, and they just put Will Smith's face on it and made his nose a little bit different.
Doesn't make any sense.
Mm-mm.
Well, I mean, it's not.
I know, but why would you think that?
I don't know. I was like, okay, that would be the...
That's even worse. That's an even worse idea than what came out.
Basically, the Joseph Gordon-Levitt Looper
Yeah.
solution.
Yeah.
That's, well, I mean...
I like that film, by the way.
That's
so
great.
I'm
I do
not
like
digging
Looper.
that movie. I'm not digging on that movie.
Yeah.
But I'm just curious. Firstly, Johnny, what did you dislike about it? Because I thought it was fine. I thought it was more of a teaser than a trailer.
Yeah,
Maybe that's what I
guess.
watched.
Yeah.
There's only
Yeah.
one, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it just came out, like, this week.
And so I watched it, and I was
days
just like, okay.
Really? I didn't like... One, I hate the when there's one actor playing two roles, and they're like starring Will Smith,
Like
and
the Winklevoss.
Will Smith. You know what I'm saying? Like,
The
I hate
Winklevoss
that.
twins from Social Network.
Army Hammer.
Well, no, that's
Yeah.
different because it wasn't. I mean,
It was Army Hammer and then somebody else. And
Yeah, but they were twins. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? Like, this is like, it looks like he's like some sort of clone.
He is a clone.
Yeah,
But
right.
like a younger clone.
Yeah, but it's just like, I don't know. One, it feels a lot like Looper. Like, he's a hitman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Except dumber. Like, not dumber. It's not as well crafted. Just from the premise, not as well crafted as Looper. The whole, like, he's like a spy or an assassin. I don't
Assassin.
really
It
know.
looks
Yeah.
like Assassin anyway.
Yeah, and then he's like, the only one that can kill him is him.
So,
Like, that, come on. That should have been retired in the fucking 90s, man. Like, it kind of, it reminds me a lot of, like, Face Off.
Yeah.
Remember Face Off?
Yeah, I remember Face Off.
Well, that's like when you were trying to think of when this movie would be, I'm like, I was just gonna be like, Faced Off.
Yeah.
Well,
And it's got, I don't know, just the premise. And, I mean, I was talking earlier about Will Smith as a movie star, which I don't think he is anymore.
see, he's actually one of the very few remaining. It's Will Smith, Tom Cruise, and maybe like Jennifer Lawrence. There's really very few, and Scarlett Johansson. Like really very few actors that can headline a film and open anywhere.
But I don't think Will Smith fits in that category anymore. Even though I know that that's like the
criteria.
The consensus is
Yeah.
that he's one of the last remaining. But when was the last Will Smith led movie?
Concussion.
Exactly, right?
Suicide Squad. Wait, no.
I'm gonna look
Sight. Wait, no.
Yes. You see what I'm getting at? Like, I'm saying Will Smith hasn't had like a blockbuster hit that was him. I mean, the last one could be considered Suicide Squad, but it's not a Will Smith movie. It's an ensemble
No.
piece. And even then...
And he had to eat some crow, I think, because he was originally going to be in Django Unchained, and then he was like, spoiler listener, he was like, no, but I gotta be the guy that kills the guy. Can't do it. Which I really think meant that he... I think it was an ego thing, ultimately.
Definitely.
And then that movie was great.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx got a lot of recognition for it. I think maybe nominated, but certainly everybody's like, this is a great movie. Jamie Foxx is great in it. And then Will Smith was like, shit. And then took the next big thing that came along, which was Suicide Squad.
I mean, he's done that a couple of times,
which he's now dropped out of for the sequel.
Yeah. And then Idris Elba dropped out because he got so much shit for taking Will Smith's place.
See, I don't get that. I feel like if Idris Elba was happy to do it, then
I think here's like, I haven't seen this movie, but everyone I've heard, like not everyone, but a lot of people, whenever it's mentioned, they're like, oh, that's actually a good movie. Is Hancock.
No, the first act is brilliant.
The first act is good. It falls apart
so hard.
Terribly.
Right after the first act.
Right before that was I Am Legend.
Yeah, but that was, when was that? That was like, I was
2007.
Yeah, that was over a decade ago.
In Pursuit of Happiness. That was probably his last one that everyone's like, this is a good movie.
And that was like an awards movie.
Yeah, and that's a 2006 movie.
Yeah,
so
but I'm saying like
it's like 13 years.
It's been you can't go on a drive.
Wait a minute. Men in Black 3. Are we forgetting that gem?
Well, no, I am forgetting that gem because it got stolen from me.
When did Men in Black 3 come out?
That came out in 2012.
Okay, so he has at least...
But that movie was really the Josh Brolin show, because he was doing a brilliant Tommy Lee Jones impersonation.
And it wasn't, I wouldn't consider it a block. I mean, it wasn't like a smash hit, right?
It did okay.
It did okay, but it wasn't like...
It wasn't the first one.
Yeah, it wasn't...
And he had the 1-2 punch of the original Men in Black and Independence Day, like 2 summers in a row or something like that.
They play Men in Black and Men in Black 2 on a loop on weekends on like Sci-Fi or like FX or something, and I always like watch Men in Black. Like, I love Men in Black. I think that's the last Will Smith movie that I actually really enjoyed.
Yeah, I don't think, like, I'm not sold on this because Will Smith is in it. I like Will Smith as like an actor, or at least I liked his movies before, but I don't this looks bad to me. And it should feel bad.
I was going into this trailer being like, I think that this sounds like an interesting concept.
It doesn't,
and
though.
I was like, it could be really fun. But then when I watched, I was like, this is not fun. It's just a bunch of explosions and like bike chases, and
those are the
that
only
stuff looked. But you know what's funny to me is that was the stuff that actually looked the least convincing.
Yeah,
like CG wise, which is not fair because they're not done. They're not even close to.
Yeah.
I don't know when is it going to be released. I kind of missed that in the trailer. Very important thing that I missed.
Yeah,
in the
they
trailer.
didn't. I don't think they're in post right now. Although Will Smith introed it on his channel, like his YouTube channel, like, we're still on set, we're still filming this, but I feel like that was a way pre-tape. Comes out in October.
Okay, because I thought that the motorcycle stuff in the beginning of the trailer actually looked really unconvincing, and I remember, and I thought, oh dear, Ang Lee, how far have you fallen?
This poster though, he does look a little bit like Jaden.
I guess so.
I guess I'm really
I just feel like Jaden looks more like his mom than
I think Willow looks more like Jada.
Well, I have no idea what she looks like.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. All four of them look very similar.
Racist.
I didn't even know there was 4 of them.
Well, Will, Jada, Willow, and Jaden.
The Smith family.
The 4 in the Smith family. Plus the kid that Will had with his girlfriend while he was on Fresh Prince, who's, I think, around our age. He's like 27, 28. But he looks a lot like Will Smith. Actually, no, he does not. He looks more like his mom. But anyways, the thing I really wanted to talk about...
Weak genes is what he asked.
The CG that you were talking about. The way the younger Will Smith clone looks in the first couple shots that I saw, I did not like. I feel like it looked really weird, and I have this issue with de-aging. I don't like it. I did not like it was okay in Captain Marvel, but the way they de-aged Coulson and
Fury.
Fury, thank you. I was blacking out there for a second.
Whoa, racist again.
She drank too much. See, I was
The
going
way-
with the drinking.
I feel
Yeah.
like the way they de-aged Coulson and Fury in Captain Marvel made them look a little plasticky, but in Gemini Man, he just looks very CG, and he does kind of go into that uncanny valley.
See, so oddly enough, I think that if you need to point at any movie studio for really excelling
I
at
would say
de-aging, is Marvel.
Marvel does
is
it,
I mean,
yeah.
I'm thinking of the opening to Ant-Man with
Michael Douglas.
which I thought looked
And then
great.
aged up Peggy Carter.
Yeah.
Like they did a nice job
That was
of
good.
aging her up.
I do agree with you that Coulson looked weird. He looked
Yeah, it
very
was-
like it was like kind of like a mask almost.
Yeah, it just like, it kind of just like
I
took
think they
me back.
spent all
I think
their
it was,
money on Fury.
yeah,
which
'cause
makes
he was
sense.
gonna be on there more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it
and
just,
I
like,
think the
took me
Sam one.
aback.
I think Fury does look.
I thought he looked
pretty
great.
good.
I thought he looked so
pretty
good.
I mean, I'm not saying he looked bad. I'm just saying it felt like plasticky to me, and I think it was because I know what Samuel L. Jackson looks like now, and that's what I'm most used to.
Yeah.
I was just like, oh, that's a little weird because it didn't get that vibe from the trailers.
If anything,
Really? That's weird.
It's funny because I thought it was really good. I thought it was really convincing. It didn't distract me at all. In fact, I kept
Oh,
thinking
I
like,
forgot about it after a while.
well, at first I thought maybe they didn't de-age him at all, and they just like he like Samuel L.
shaved.
Jackson they just shaved him and put a wig on, and he didn't need anything else. But I know they did.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
like I thought it was that convincing. There's significantly less convincing CG face work.
Yes.
Superman and Justice League.
His movie.
Yeah, I mean, and I guess it's different. Mustache versus wrinkles, but still,
Yeah.
like I thought they did a really good job, and I thought Michael Douglas looked really good. Michelle Pfeiffer in Ant-Man and the Wasp looked really good. 18 or 20-year-old Robert Downey Jr. in the beginning of Civil
Yeah,
War
that
looks
was
really good.
good.
You are
No.
right that Marvel definitely.
Yeah,
as a stu-
and
as a
Kurt
studio is like-
Russell, which was apparently all makeup, like we found.
Well,
in,
I mean, it's Kurt Russell.
yeah, it's true. It is Kurt Russell. But yeah, I think he probably grew the beard only so that we would think he had grown older. He's one of the ageless, I think.
Yeah.
But anyway, so I think Marvel does it a really good job. Full disclosure, I was watching this on my computer. And the sun was kind of coming through, so it was sort of dark, like it's an overall dark trailer, so it was kind of hard to see.
Yeah, I was watching it in my apartment yesterday morning with like I had a dark source behind me. Like there was no
are
light
you talking
behind
about
me.
the trailer?
The Gemini trailer.
Yeah.
You guys switched topics and didn't
Well,
address it at all.
Sorry.
I was like, what are you guys watching?
Johnny,
in the dark?
we are switching topics.
I'm just saying, you guys.
But I mean, I was watching it with like a
Yeah.
light source, like kind of coming from the side. So it was like I had a clean screen,
Mm-hmm.
and I could see it, and it was still very hard for me to see what was happening. So I don't think it
Okay.
was just you.
Okay, because I was going to say I thought that it was pretty convincing. I thought that it looked like Will Smith. It didn't look weird to me. It looked like young Will Smith, and I thought it looked okay.
I don't know. There were some parts where it just was like, I don't like the way that looks. It feels weird. Mm-hmm. It felt really off to me.
See, my standard for like when it really doesn't work is like Jeff Bridges in Tron, whatever sequel that was.
Oh, yeah,
that
Tron
looked
Legacy.
weird, and
Yeah.
his face looked plasticky and strange, and even to a lesser extent, but still
But I
there.
think. Well, just you can get away with it in Tron because it's supposed to be like
It's meant to be a machine,
a computer program,
thing.
Yeah.
a computer thing.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I guess you can kind of get away. But I do agree with you that did look weird.
Because I was going to say Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen in X-Men 3, The Last Stand, they also look a little weird. Not as weird as Bridges, but weird.
Yeah, and I think that's like one of the, because I remember when that movie came out, people were talking about that they de-aged him digitally.
Yeah.
And how that worked out. I think that was one of the first ones that kind of did something like that.
I think so too, yeah.
Yeah. I don't remember much of X-Men 3, thank God. But I do
The
remember
Wolverine
the scene.
Juggernaut fight scene was very cool.
Leave it at that.
Yeah.
So I don't remember. I kind of remember. I don't remember what their faces look like, but
I mean, I remember at the time being like, oh, wow, but it was just like it was just a little weird.
Yeah.
The Jeff Bridges one was really unconvincing. I remember that one, like it sort of leapt off the screen and slapped me in the face. You know, in terms of like I wasn't even like I it was so bad I could not accept it. I thought this looked fine though. I mean, I thought it was like perfectly fine trailer. I'm interested to see more.
Really? See,
Yeah.
I'm not interested in seeing this movie at all.
You know what it felt like? It felt like Born Identity versus Born Identity. You know, because he's like super crazy assassin who's been trained for this, and you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it just felt Born Identity-ish to me, like Born Identity and Face Off combined.
Yeah. I don't know. It just had like a vibe.
And Clive Owen's in both. Clive Owen.
Speaking of ageless.
Yeah, I know.
I don't know how I feel. I don't know how I feel about this trailer.
I think you do know how you feel about this trailer. I think
feel like
you don't like it.
I feel like I don't like it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm very sad because I love Will Smith. I grew up with Will Smith.
You've
Really?
never met
You
Will
grew up with
Smith.
I've never
him?
met
You went to
Will
school with
Smith.
him?
No, I grew up watching Will Smith.
There you go.
From afar?
Through the window.
That's super creepy.
Amy,
I was on the set of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Little did you guys know.
Yeah, no, we knew. You always talk about it.
But yeah, like I feel like Will Smith is just a part of my childhood, and now he's ruining my childhood.
How?
Your childhood was already
for, like,
Aladdin.
bad.
I was like Aladdin. I mean, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm reserving
He's
my
not-
judgment.
Yeah,
for
I'm gonna
that
wait
one.
until the end of May when
Yeah.
that movie comes out
I just
to
want-
like
yeah.
really be like he's ruining it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
exactly.
I you know, it's funny. I do think because your childhood will always be there. He's not really ruining it. He's,
No.
you know,
Your childhood would always be ruined. It's okay.
yeah,
Forever.
long
Yeah.
time ago. it was
Because of
ruined.
you.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate the love. I feel it.
Keep it real.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Well,
Well.
speaking of looking back, shall we look back at the movie today?
Yes.
Yay.
All right.
So FernGully.
I have a tagline for it, or like movie voice for it. You ready?
Okay.
All right. From the studio that brought you Avatar comes Avatar, the cartoon.
Okay.
Nice.
So this is a movie from April 10th, 1992. Came out 7.5 months before
Wow.
Aladdin.
Yeah.
It was Robin Williams' first voice acting role, and he did it like directly before doing Genie,
It's funny we missed the anniversary by a couple like
but like a couple weeks. Yeah. But it is directed by Bill Courier, starring Tim Curry, Robin Williams, Christian Slater, Samantha Mathis, and surprisingly Cheech and Chong. Mm-hmm. So it's basically, what would you say? It's just like deforestation for kids.
yeah.
There you go, Joe. I'm giving you a explain a film plot badly.
That's it, everybody. That's Amy's first
Spoiler
one.
alert for for a week from now.
Yeah.
But so this was a movie that I chose because this was near and dear to my heart growing up. I talked to my mom about it last night, and she said this was probably the first Robin Williams movie that I watched. Yes, even before Aladdin.
Even before Hook?
Yes, because I didn't really watch Hook until it scared me, until I was maybe like 10. Mm-hmm. So I watched, this was my first Robin Williams movie, and then Aladdin, I think. But both of those movies we watched a lot growing up. So this I have very fond memories of. I knew the Batty Coda rap that Robin Williams does. I knew it by heart. And yeah, Tim Curry scared the shit out of me. But have you guys, either of you guys watched this when you were younger?
I recall the best memory I have of it, of like seeing it. I saw it in a science class. One
Yeah,
day
that
in,
makes
like,
sense.
in,
I feel like
junior high. It
I
was
feel like we
in
watched it in
junior
science
high?
class.
yeah, like in junior high.
Seems kind of old.
Yeah,
to
I feel
be,
like we watched
here,
it in like elementary school.
Teacher's like, I've got a hangover today. I'm going to show you a cartoon about deforestation.
I'm pretty sure it was in junior high.
Yeah,
Weird.
in junior high we watched October Sky every week.
Whatever. And I remember watching it there, but I remember I think I'd seen it previous to that, but that's the best memory that I have of it.
But that's probably the last time you watched it too.
Yes. I remember I didn't really care for it then.
Yeah. I mean, the last time I watched this was probably 10 years ago, even though I own it on DVD.
I know for me, I loved this film when I was little. I had it either I had it on VHS or taped it off of something.
Disney Channel, probably.
Possibly when it was a pay channel, if
Yeah.
you remember that. But one way or another, I had it. I watched it. I loved it. I loved Robin Williams. This was not the first Robin Williams thing that.
Yeah, well,
I
you
grew
are
up with
also
him.
a little bit older than me, and this movie came out probably when you were able to.
Well, I grew up watching Mork and
Understand.
Mindy.
Yeah.
You know, so like which was kind of his big first thing.
Yeah.
You know, so I already was pretty aware of Robin Williams. And I remember I wanted to be Batty Coda for whatever reason.
Yeah.
Like I thought he was cool. I liked the different voices he made and was sort of messed up. And yeah, I remember thinking like his rap. I remember really loving that.
There's a line that he says, I don't remember what the context is for it, but it's when he says nutritious and delicious, tastes just like chicken. Surprisingly to you guys, I mean, I say that very sarcastically. That is how my mom would get me to eat sometimes. She'd say, it's nutritious and delicious, tastes just like chicken. I'm like, okay, you got me. I'm going to eat that.
And then you were like, I hate you, Mom. This is gross.
This is mushroom. This is tomato.
Does that still work on you?
No.
No, clearly not.
No. Considering I can see food and I understand what food is now.
You don't like seafood.
No, you don't.
I can use my eyeballs to perceive the food in front of me.
There you go.
But yeah, so that is our thoughts.
Okay.
This is a
End of
really
episode.
this is a really awkward transition. Let's just go watch this movie.
Okay.
And now, our feature presentation.
All right, so we're back. We watched the movie, and you know what, guys? I still really like this movie.
Oh yeah, Johnny.
Yeah.
Do you still your junior high feelings remain unchanged?
Yeah.
I mean, I
really
have
don't
some-
like it, and I can live the rest of my life never watching it again. The thing that primarily my biggest gripe is the animation. Sucks so
I mean,
bad.
I have like a special place in my heart for this, but there are things about this that I'm like, why did I love this movie so much?
It's hard to look at.
Like the animation was like, that was a big sticking point for me.
Holy
and
shit.
I realized I really hate Zach and Krista. I hated their characters.
Yeah, they're bad.
Well, you know what's funny? Because the movie's 80
How did you feel
something
about it?
minutes.
Yeah, the movie's pretty short.
It felt
Like,
long.
it didn't feel. It actually.
I started to feel like it was a little bit long.
I felt like it was exactly its runtime.
Yeah.
But what I thought was sort of weird was I felt like even though it wasn't so short, you know, like Nightmare Before Christmas is like 70 something minutes, but there's so much in that movie.
Yeah.
This movie felt like they never really got to the point.
Yeah.
Like it was like even though it wasn't abbreviated, it felt abbreviated.
Well,
just really surface level. I almost
kind of did. Yeah, you're right in that. 'Cause it didn't feel long.
Yeah.
It just felt like it dragged.
No, it didn't feel like it dragged. I
It just
felt.
didn't feel like it got to where it wanted to go before it was over.
Yeah.
And I turned to Sarah afterwards and I was like, I kind of feel like it was a one act. And she's like, really? And I said, well, no, I mean, I guess not. It had a first, second, and third act. It just felt like it didn't get to its point.
Yeah.
And even like Hexus being this big bad,
They had, like,
he almost no screen time.
Well, that's
and
a
then
note I have.
nothing.
I'm like, I remember Hexus being in this more.
Yeah, and then he like the closest he gets is starting to saw into their like home tree,
Yeah.
and then stops and they turn off the leveler and that's it.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah.
like that's like there's no.
That's
I mean,
the
Yeah.
I mean, and even like, and I was thinking about it because like that moment where she grabs that bean and like flies
It's a
into his
seed.
mouth or seed. Well, yes, it's
Yeah.
a seed. It's true. You know, and she flies into his mouth like that should have been like a really cool, big, damn heroic moment.
And it was
and
not.
it wasn't.
No.
It just kind of happened. Like everything in the movie didn't have the emotional beats. The things were there,
Yeah.
but the beats that would make those things important and stick weren't there. And I was shocked. Even like the Batty Coda stuff felt like Robin Williams wasn't. It wasn't.
Awful.
It was awful.
Yeah.
And it also felt like
was
he
phoned
wasn't.
It was.
Well, it was also
phoned
his
in.
like first
Yeah.
thing. He was probably working on this and Genie at the same time.
I mean, yeah.
And he was putting more of
I
his
don't
energy
know.
into Genie.
If anything, Genie was probably done first.
Yeah, 'cause
because
I don't
of
know-
the animation.
I don't know what he did first, but
Yeah.
you can definitely tell that they're very, very similar because it's just like Robin Williams.
Well,
like, speaking into
there
a
was
microphone.
points where I'm like, oh, he's just doing Genie right here.
I kind of felt like probably what happened was because this is what they used to do on Mark and Mindy, is they would have the script for the episode, and then there would be a bunch of blank pages in scenes, and
For
then
him
and
to
it would just say Robin can go crazy here, and he would. And I have a feeling that the Disney people were like, Robin, go crazy,
And
and
then
he would.
They made him go off the script for this one.
Well, no, I think they made him go on the script.
Yeah, that's what I meant.
Yeah, I think they made him stick to the script, and he did. But he probably still like Robin Williams it up a little bit, but was largely probably sticking to it.
Well, I was watching this with subtitles on, and there was one point where I think it was when he was flying Zach to the leveler.
Yeah.
And he's like doing something in a Betty Davis voice. It says like in Betty Davis voice, or like mimicking Betty Davis. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah. Well, because he also did like his John Wayne, all right, soldier, we're gonna get to the, and it was just. Yeah, but it was, and like even his rap, which I remember really loving.
I hated that.
And like this,
I used to have that thing memorized. I was like, I don't remember any of it, and I
mid '90s like rap stuff.
I've always had a problem with movies in the early and late early '90s, early '90s, late '80s.
Yeah.
Where they do a rap as a gimmick, and
they did two in this.
They're rapping. Also, one can just say the music in this movie is fucking
awful.
garbage,
and it's
garbage.
And it
Each
feels
song
like everyone's just like, oh, this is an
score,
animated
though.
film. We need to have another
We need
song
to have
right
another
now.
song. Yeah,
and the score was
Fucking
bad.
It was
hated
Alan Silvestri.
And which is funny because Alan Silvestri, listener, you probably already know, but
listener.
but Back to the Future, brilliant.
Endgame?
Avengers, brilliant. And everything in between that he's done. He is a really talented musician. And what this movie suffers from is a serious lack of budget because it's all synth.
Yeah. Well, and Elton John did the theme song.
Which, I know. Which was like Elton John's first animated thing that he... And it's funny because I feel like this movie was like the practice girl for a bunch of really good stuff that Disney would do later because obviously Elton John would then show up on Lion King and knock it out of the park. Just like Robin Williams would show up in Aladdin and knock it out of the park.
Even though he technically probably did that before Aladdin. Did Aladdin before this.
Did you happen to notice that Krista's dad, the old
He sounds like the Sultan. That's a note on
He
your
looks like the Sultan.
Like he's 100%. I'm pretty
but
sure
it's not the
him.
same guy.
It's
I looked it up.
not?
Nope.
That's hilarious. That's funny.
That's really... Okay, actually, that's even more shocking to me that it's not the same guy.
I don't even know what his character's name was because they just called him Father.
Yeah.
But there's no, on IMDb, there's no list that says Krista's father or father. I think it is his name, the character's name is, where did it go? Oh, never mind. I don't know where I was going with that. Knotty, Knotty. I think that's the name of the character. And he's voiced by Townsend Coleman, he did TMNT stuff. And he was the Tick in the animated series.
Oh, interesting.
And Inspector Gadget. He was in Inspector Gadget, not he was Inspector Gadget.
Don Adams and Maurice LaMarche were Inspector Gadget.
Yeah.
Go, Gadget legs.
He was Michelangelo and the Rat King in the animated TMNT.
Whoa!
Yeah.
Michelangelo was the party dude, Amy. I don't know if you knew that.
It's been probably 20 plus years since I've watched TMNT.
Well,
I used to be a really big fan of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
Mm-hmm.
There's a home video my mom has somewhere of us going to like our house getting built and me just running around the front yard screaming, "Turtle power!"
Nice.
with like
That's
a
great.
plastic Ninja Turtle.
Yeah, that's funny.
And not wanting to get my dress dirty. Which, that's me.
That's
wearing
you.
all them dresses.
Running
And
around
going
screaming
outside,
with a Ninja Turtle.
Yeah.
Running, smiling, laughing.
Sounds like the Amy we know and love.
Yep.
I mean, I will say I don't think as a child I appreciated how dark Batty's deal was.
Oh,
The
yeah.
fact that he was
I was like, I totally
test
didn't realize
animal.
that he was a test animal.
I think I sort of did, but didn't understand what that meant.
Yeah.
The movie kind of, it's supposed to be like kind of serious, but
It's socially
kind of-
conscious.
Yeah, and it's just not, and
Yeah.
it's just it's just bad. It's
Yeah.
a bad movie, guys.
It was really, really not good.
And it's funny because a lot of people, it's not just you, Amy, a lot of people
Really
love
like this movie.
it's a nostalgia where they're just like, oh yeah, I remember that movie. It's
Well,
great.
I do credit this movie for me wanting to be like an environmental activist when I was in middle school. Mm-hmm. A lot of it. Like, I watched this movie so much. But,
How'd that work out?
I mean, I did go vegetarian for 3 months.
But to be fair, it was by accident. She just ended up eating popcorn every day.
In middle school, yeah. One thing I will say that this movie does well is Hexus. I don't know. I think it's just because Hexus scared me so much and I really didn't like him when I was younger. I just like really respected Tim Curry's performance. It's like, oh wow, like he's actually like kind of doing it.
He was doing his very Tim Curry-est best.
Yeah.
But I feel like the movie underutilized Hexus.
Oh no. That's the
much.
thing is like I think the parts that they had Hexus in were great, and I wish they had more of those.
Yeah.
I actually did like his song. I did
Yeah.
like
I
his
loved
song. I
his
think that
song.
was the best song.
You know,
Yeah, his song was
that's
good.
not even the full song.
Yeah, I know, but there's
There's like
There's
dirtier
like a-
lyrics because
yeah.
it's kind of like a sexy song, which is funny because when we were watching it, Sarah, he starts out as like this gloopy, wormy, gross thing, and then at a certain point he gets like this jawline and he's kind of
becomes-
swole,
yeah.
bro, and Sarah's like, she's like, wow. He's pretty attractive. Like, that's sexy. And she's like, he's got a good jaw. And I was like, I looked at her and she's like, he's got a good jawline.
that exhaust oil slick.
Yeah. So she's like, anybody else? So she said just like to the room, which was me and the 3 dogs. Anybody else attracted to Hexus? It's like, no.
What, Maya?
Yeah, I know. So I wrote here, Sarah was attracted to Hexus. Good jawline, she said. Amy.
I mean, I can see it.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, I remember Hexus being a bigger presence. I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, his end is nightmarish when he kind of
Yes,
goes like
with
Night
the
on Bald
fire
Mountain,
and-
skeleton.
Yeah, that's cool. But it's so
cool,
super
But
sure
that
he
was
does
the
nothing.
best
But he doesn't-
animation in this movie. Was
It
him
was.
as that fire demon.
But he doesn't do it.
It's like he doesn't do anything.
No.
He was too easy to beat as well.
Yeah.
It
Yeah.
did
He was
surpri-
like the worst villain.
I mean,
Like the worst best villain.
He's almost like Boba Fett. Where like if you
looks
look
cool.
back at Boba Fett, he looks really cool.
does
But the
nothing.
only thing he did
It's
was
to
get
fall into the Sarlacc pit.
accidentally hit in the back and then fall in the Sarlacc pit. That's all.
Yeah.
That's all he did.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I mean,
pretty much.
And so it's just like he didn't really deserve the cred that he got.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, it was really bad. To your point, Joe, earlier where you said that it felt like it never got there, never got to where it wanted to go. I agree with you. I agree with you on that point. There was a point where it's like they're tangling with the leveler machine or whatever.
Yeah.
And then I looked at the time code or whatever, like how long was left, and it was only like 10 minutes left, and I was like, holy shit.
Yeah.
I was like, that's it?
Yeah.
Like, we're there already?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It threw me off for sure.
Yeah, I
I
think the
felt that way
thing
too.
that felt like it dragged out for me was that weird romance scene that I remember as a child really disliking, but that I think is the person in, like the little person in me that hates romance in general.
You have a midget in you?
Yes. I'm just 2 midgets stacked on top of each other, Joe.
We knew it.
So much sense.
Yeah, I know, right?
That's hilarious.
Yeah. I'm gonna say it because I'm gonna go on record, listener.
Gonna say it.
I'm gonna say it. I don't mind the movie Avatar. Like some people
don't- I
like
mean-
genuinely
It looks beautiful.
dislike it.
I mean,
I think what makes Avatar like a special movie is the technological advances and the execution of the film.
Yeah,
the story itself is just fine.
It's also Pocahontas.
It's a serviceable movie. It's nothing special in that regard. But I do think a lot of people are like, oh, it's Avatar is FernGully, blah blah blah. blah.
Yeah.
But
Dances
honestly,
with
I think.
Pocahontas.
But I think Avatar gets the point across better than FernGully does.
Oh, yeah.
And
it's the same.
like the bit when they're fighting with the levelers, just like the bit where they're fighting with the
No,
big
I
ships
was
in Avatar.
watching.
But
I haven't seen Avatar since it came out on Blu-ray.
Nobody has.
I have. I watched it last
Yeah,
year.
Joe probably watches it constantly.
No, I just watched it last year.
Yeah, like I haven't watched it since it came out. My mom rented it, and we watched it as a family.
Yeah.
But I was watching something like, I remember that from Avatar. I remember that from Avatar. I remember that from Avatar. I'm like, did James Cameron just rip FernGully and make Avatar, make it look pretty and make it more cohesive?
I mean, even the mushrooms in this damn movie glowed. Remember that?
Yes.
Like, I was like, oh shit.
Yeah.
Interestingly enough,
Everything glowed in this.
it did. Did you happen to notice? Because there was a point where I was like, what the hell kind of forest is this? And they've got a kangaroo
Oh.
in there. But it turns out it
Yes!
is Australia because Zach's wallet, it says
yeah.
he's from Australia.
That's like a
He's
big issue I have with
Yeah.
this. And like, there's no Australian accents. I want Australian accents. Give me the Australian
Not a
accents.
single Australian accent, Amy. Not a single one.
I know, I'm so sad.
And it was kind of weird. And then I was like, well, this is interesting. So then, of course, I did 20 minutes of research about the rainforests of Australia. I mean, and it turns out that tropical and subtropical rainforests are found in northern and eastern Australia and the wet coastal areas.
Yeah.
And so I was like, well, that's actually kind of interesting.
I mean, the story team did spend a lot of time, and not just the story team. I think the animation team as well.
Yeah.
Spent a lot of time in Australian rainforests.
I didn't think the animation team spent a lot of time on anything.
No, they probably didn't.
Burn!
Except wasting paper on this eco movie.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And the animation, the computer animation, really helps speed up the process.
It's true. It's true.
I did read that.
But yeah, I don't understand. At first, when I saw his wallet, which it said Australia,
I stopped and rewound it.
Yeah, well, I remember because I never knew that when I was little, and I don't think I
didn't
ever
either.
spotted the kangaroo
was the first
really,
time.
because that was the giveaway is the kangaroo. And
Yeah,
the
well,
wallaby.
and there's a platypus.
Right,
And I think I saw a wallaby in there too.
There is, yeah. And so I remembered thinking after I saw that this time as a grown ass man, I was like, was this movie revoiced? Was it made in Australia? But I didn't see that in anything that I read about the movie.
I looked up the company credits.
Yeah.
It was 20th Century Fox.
Which is worth noting, they also distributed Avatar.
Fox did it U.S. theatrical, VHS in UK, Australia, and U.S. And pretty much Fox owns this movie.
Yeah.
It's a Fox movie.
Mm-hmm.
So Disney owns it now.
Yes, it does. Oh, that means Chris is like a princess.
But Disney Channel did have the U.S. theatrical rights in 93. So it premiered on Disney Channel.
Yeah, that's interesting. You know what's funny is, so I don't know, when we very first started, because we go into these movies and I'm always like, am I gonna like this thing?
Yeah.
And it starts out with all those handprints in the cave, and I remember thinking actually oh wow, this is really interesting. This is a really cool way to start. Maybe I'm gonna rediscover this movie that I always liked, and now I'm gonna fully appreciate it
for what
because that opening kind of reminded. Did you ever see Kaiwanascatsi?
What? Bless
No,
you?
is that the?
Excuse me. It's I don't know who directed it, but it's famous for Philip Glass's score, and it's basically it's not a documentary because it's I mean. Sort of kind of is, but there's nobody talking, there's no pieces to camera. It's all footage of stuff around the world, natural wonders, and then also cities and pollution. And it's basically talking about I think it's a Native American word that means life out of balance or something like that. And it's basically
I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
And basically the movie is, I think it was, I can't remember when the movie came out, and of course, I didn't look it up. I will look it up now, listener, so you don't have to in case, you don't know off the top of your head. But it came out in, really? So my thing says I don't have internet.
When the internet fails you.
I know.
Came out recently enough.
Yeah.
I mean, because it was
early 80s, I think.
Oh, really? I don't know. Okay, but then I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I was thinking of a different movie. Nobody knows. I don't think this movie exists.
It does.
You're talking out of your ass. I think you're just making stuff up now.
Come on, Joe.
There we go.
Joe doesn't know.
I know some things. 1982, so I was right, early 80s.
Okay.
And I have a feeling that, and I was right, it says, drawing from the title, the Hopi word meaning life out of balance, this renowned documentary reveals how humanity has grown apart from nature. Featuring extensive footage of natural landscapes and elemental forces, the film gives way to many scenes of modern civilization and technology. So anyway, and Philip Glass did the music for it. And it's the whole movie is scored wall to wall with music, and I think it starts out with cave paintings and some other stuff, and these guys going Kaiwanascatsi.
Yeah.
And it's kind of weird. I have a feeling it's one of those movies that our parents' generation was like, oh wow, man, this is pretty good, you know, because it was just weird. But I feel like this movie was hearkening to that, pointing to it in that opening sequence. And I remember thinking oh wow, that's a really that's a pretty cool reference for this, kids movie, this to make.
Yeah.
And then the movie goes off the rails
Yeah.
immediately.
Something that I noticed going back to Zach's work permit thing.
Yeah.
He's only 16.
Mm-hmm.
Did you ever think he was older when you
Oh,
were watching
yeah.
this?
I thought he was
like
older.
in his 20s or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah, I thought it was. But did you say it's a summer job? So I guess it makes sense that he's 16. And I'm pretty. I'm the way he was like leering at Krista, I feel like is
No,
probably,
like that's one of the issues I have with him as a character is he is that dumbass middle school, high school kid that will do or say anything to impress the girl. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, God damn it, you're such a fucking dumbass. Like when he's carving her name into the tree.
Yeah.
I'm just like, I understand that he has to be this jerk to learn about what we need to learn about. He's the audience. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, like, he continues to do that still. Like, I don't know. He feels like this stupid, dumb kid that I went to middle school and high school with that I'm like, no, why are you like this?
Yeah.
But he's got a bodacious bod.
She has the bodacious bod.
Yeah, she does.
I also really did not like Krista. She was really dumb and
Yeah. I
feel like I didn't understand any, like the characters didn't really have any character.
They
No,
did not.
they didn't.
All the voice actors were terrible in this movie. The voice acting is garbage. I would say Tim Curry's the best one.
Yes.
Robin Williams second best.
Christian Slater
Christian
actually, I thought,
Slater
did
with
all
the,
right.
Christian
like-
Slater did okay.
with his 5 lines.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the main characters, the ones that we're supposed to care about,
Yeah,
fucking garbage.
yeah, I'm just like,
Like, yeah, it's just I don't know. It's not good.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was surprised at how bad it was, honestly.
Yeah.
Because again, a
Yeah.
lot of people have a lot of love for this movie.
Yeah.
Like I used to.
Yeah, right?
Yeah.
And Amy, still does.
I still do. I mean,
but I mean,
it
it's
doesn't
the
hold up. I have
fondness
issues
of-
like thoughts.
Yeah.
But I thought I was, because I hadn't seen it since that, I was in school or whatever. And so I was like, okay, cool. This is a thing that people really like.
Mm-hmm.
And I sort of remember it.
I mean, I probably haven't seen it since 1995.
Yeah.
And then it was just bad, and I was like, am I viewing this wrong?
Yeah.
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah, I was wondering if it was me, like if I was distracted in some way.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
Or just thinking about, or like watching it and thinking, well, this isn't Aladdin.
Yeah, I was
This
Yeah.
isn't, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Although there was something that I thought was kind of funny. There's a number of points where Batty calls Krista Little Bug, which I'm pretty sure Robin Williams calls Tink Little Bug in Hook.
Really?
I think so.
I just watched Hook for like the millionth time this weekend, and I don't remember that, but I also wasn't paying that close of attention.
It just felt really familiar now. And I turned to Sarah and I was like, did he call Tinkerbell Little Bug? And she's like, yeah, I think he did. So it
What
was
did
just
Sarah
like,
think of this movie? Because she really liked it, right?
oh, so she really liked it when she was little too,
Yeah.
and she actually thought that she owned the DVD. And then when we went to like go look for it, she was like, it wasn't there on the shelf.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about it, like she really liked the flowers that followed Maggie, like as she's like floating around. And she also, and this is one of those like little details that I don't have for this movie, but I do have for others that Sarah brought up. She said that she loved all the seeds and the beans and the berries and all that stuff. Like she and like all the, like when Batty's like stuffing his face with all the food, like for whatever, there was like some kind of textural thing that she really liked about that animation. And then also the scene where they were like dancing / running on the water. In that romantic scene together. Like she remembered that really clearly and really liked that.
I remember liking the animation of it, but that part of the movie I was so bored with.
It does take a while. Like it definitely, the momentum slows down. For
It's
sure.
like the romance scene that doesn't really necessarily fulfill itself.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. So she, after it was done, I think she was okay with it. Like I think she was maybe more
She'd
like you,
come
where
to
it's like
terms.
she liked it well enough still.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But-
it's like it's the little nostalgia.
Well, it's the memories. You can't take away the memories
Yeah.
you had when you were watching as a kid, Even,
But
Yeah.
But she also wasn't like, her attention was not like rapt. She was not watching it.
Yeah, well, I
you
mean,
know.
I will say that while I was I say quote watching with air quotes, I was also like checking YouTube stats, checking Twitter, like I wasn't like fully as like invested as I probably should have been, but I think that's because I was just like, oh, this is not as good as I thought it was.
Yeah, it was really kind of actually a letdown. I feel like, I'm trying to remember of the other movies we've talked about, if there were any that I liked as much when I was little that were kind of like a rude awakening now. And I think this might be the first one where I just felt not like even angry about it, like, oh, this movie's so awful. What was it? It was just more like,
Like,
that's just disappointing.
Yeah.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
Classic dad.
Yeah, because I'm like looking at the list. I'm like, Hercules, you didn't like that to begin with.
But it's true. But I didn't love it. But my feelings were unchanged.
And Treasure Planet, you saw that when you were older.
Oh no, this was my first time watching. That was when we watched it for the show. This was my first time.
Okay.
Yeah.
National Treasure.
That one I disliked immensely.
Both times. Yeah, I mean, the Santa Claus, but
I liked that.
The Santa Claus is a classic.
I feel like
Classic.
I feel like I'm pretty consistent. Like as a
Yeah.
viewer.
I mean, I'm looking through this. I'm like, there's none of these that I feel like you did not like on second rewatch. Because besides Tower of Terror, but that was your first watch.
Right. You know what's funny is I feel like a lot of the movies that I liked when I was little, when I watch them now, I like them even more because I appreciate everything that I like. I can name the things that I appreciated when I was little, and sort of
they connect. You have an idea of why they connected with you.
Yeah,
I have I've had this feeling of just like, oh, this isn't as good as I remember it with old TV shows that I used to watch a lot, like old cartoons. I'm trying to think of which one it was, and I can't think of it. But it was a cartoon, and it was definitely like one of those things like, oh, this is bad. This is objectively like bad as an adult. I can't really watch this anymore.
Yeah, I'm glad that it's not on the shelf. You know, like it's not taking up valuable shelf space.
Yeah, no. It's like I said, I could never see this movie again.
Yeah.
So Amy, you felt like it held up for you?
Okay.
I mean,
are we going
items.
to did it hold up, or do we want to talk about some? I have.
What do you got?
Oh yeah, you get some fun facts.
I have. I have one fun fact because we talked really about the rest of them, or two actually. So this was originally supposed to be released in November of '91, which would have been exactly a year before Aladdin.
Right.
But to avoid competition with Beauty and the Beast, they pushed it back to April of '92, and it competed with
solid move
with Rockadoodle.
I remember that.
I don't remember that movie at all.
That is.
It's like a rooster that was in a band or something.
Nope.
Ugh.
Or there's like space involved.
What?
Yeah, I think. I feel
Are
like
we
I
gonna have
remember
to add
this.
this movie to the list because it's kind of intriguing, but at the same time, I'm terrified.
Yeah.
What was the?
Okay, and then the other one for the Spanish dub.
Yeah.
It was entirely voiced. Every single voice was entirely done by Angel Guaro. I think that's how you say his name.
So one person.
Yes, it was entirely done by one person, which it's like a record. Nobody's ever done that before. I don't think one single person has voiced an entire cast for a single movie.
That's nuts.
Yeah.
But I mean, given the quality of this movie, I'm not.
I'm not surprised.
Just like they were like, I don't want to waste money on this. If I can just do it, get in the booth.
Yeah, I mean, it probably took him like a week to do. Come on, Joe.
Well, so it's so funny. This is not. I only remembered, I guess, a bit of this. It says here in this animated. This is for Rockadoodle, by the way, listener, in case you are confused by rapid subject changes like Johnny
sorry,
is.
Johnny.
I'm the listener.
In this,
No, I remember this. I don't remember seeing it. I remember this poster.
I vaguely remember. I'll show you the poster in a minute, Johnny. So it says in this animated film, Chanticleer. Glenn Campbell, who Shout Factory plug, we've put out a bunch of his stuff.
I hate Glenn Campbell.
And also he's like a great musician, really great guitarist. I saw him in concert, like on his farewell tour. Anyway, Barnyard Rooster has convinced the other animals that his crowing makes the sun rise. When one day he forgets to crow, the sun comes up anyway. His secret is out. He heads for the big city in shame. But as massive storms and dark clouds stop the sun from appearing, the farm animals get worried. So a mouse named Peppers and a kitten named Edmund lead the gang on a trip to find Chanticleer in the city. Yeah.
His name is Chanticleer.
Yeah.
Yeah. There are some stills from this. don't know if you guys ever watched this growing up, but All Dogs Go to Heaven,
I remember that one.
which I think I also added that to the list last night.
That one was cool because it had the devil in it.
Yeah, I don't know if I can
this-
watch that movie though,
this-
Amy, because I think it made me cry when I was little.
Oh yeah, it made me cry too. This dog looks like it's from it's a small picture. I can't really make it bigger.
It
but
might be.
It looks like the All Dogs Go to Heaven
Yeah.
animations.
Yeah.
Do you remember this at all? Do you remember this key art at all?
Like that's the only thing I remember because I don't think I ever watched this, but I remember seeing this key art at like Blockbuster or something.
Yeah.
It's
I feel like it was on TV. I feel like I saw it on TV.
kind of. It's vaguely familiar.
It's there with Brave Little Toaster. It's like
Yeah.
a movie that I didn't really see, but
Yeah,
But
well,
you were aware.
but I was
that it
aware
well, it
of-
says from the directors of An American Tail, The Land Before Time, and All Dogs Go to Heaven.
Oh, there you
that's
go.
why it looks like All Dogs Go to Heaven to me.
Just a Don Bluth.
Yeah, it's a Don Bluth film.
who was a Disney expatriate.
Yes, I know. I love Don Bluth movies. I mean,
Yeah.
if ever goes west, I fucking love it. And American Tail, like
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't watch A Land Before Time.
No, it's a pretty sad movie.
Like
It
I
is,
watched,
yeah.
I think we owned all of them except for the last one on VHS.
No, you didn't.
Yes.
There's like 25 of those
Yes.
things.
We had you know how I collect movies now? We had so many of those clamshell cases. But to kind of start wrapping this up before we do Does It Hold Up, I do have a kind of recasting, not for this film, but for FernGully 2, the entirety of the cast was recast.
Well, I mean, yeah. Well, there wasn't recast. None of them showed up. But that was
Yeah.
a direct to.
That was a direct to VHS.
Yeah, direct to video,
Yeah. But
which makes sense. That one came out like 6 years after the original.
FernGully 2? Yeah.
Oh, what was FernGully 2 about?
FernGully 2. I'm pulling it up. FernGully 2, The Magical Rescue.
Well, that sounds
The
like some
animation
bullshit.
looks even worse, actually.
Well, because it's if this movie was a theatrical release with the budget that it had, or whatever the case was that provided such
I
shitty
kind of
animation.
remember this. I don't know if I watched it, though.
Like, I could imagine that the sequel direct-to-video one is even worse.
Yeah, the fairies of FernGully must venture outside of the rainforest to rescue several young animals who were captured by poachers. And from the key art, it looks like they go to a festival or a carnival or something, and there's like this dog hunter. And it looks like it's going to it's even more Australian. Because the guy is wearing like some kind of
I should hope so, because this film is not Australian at all.
yeah, like look at that. How Australian can you get with a kangaroo?
Yep. By the way, I've actually pet a kangaroo, and they're very soft.
I've boxed a kangaroo, and they're very
Did you?
hard.
Yeah.
My sister held a koala when she lived in Australia for 2.5 months. But anyways,
I didn't know they let your people, like, out of the country.
no, we don't. She snuck out. But let's wrap this up. Does it hold up? We already know you guys' answer. No.
No.
So,
It does not.
yeah. Like, I don't think this holds up, but I still do have that, like, little nostalgia twinge.
Do you have the fond memories of it?
Yeah,
you know?
like, I mean, I understand the Alan Silvestri score is not that great, but when I heard it while I was, like, just, like, letting the menu start up, and I was like, and then, when the movie started, I'm like, oh, yeah, I remember really loving this.
Yeah, you know what that is?
It's nostalgia. It's nostalgitis.
It's that nostalgitis.
But thank you guys for listening. Thank you, too, for coming. Thank you, Joe, for not interrupting me.
I still think that what I'm doing is funny, but, you know, whatever.
But if you guys want to tell Joe that he should keep interrupting me or not, you can let us know on Twitter or Instagram at Nostalgitis, Nostalgitis.
Yeah, at that place that Amy just said.
Yes. Or you can email us on nostalgiaeffectpod@gmail.com. So, thank you guys. Don't forget to be kind and rewind.
Woo!